Welcome to the Planning and Zoning Commission for Monday, January 11th, 2021. It is 7 o'clock p.m. and I am calling the meeting to order. I'd like to thank all the commissioners for your service this evening, and we will jump right into item B, citizen comments. This agenda item provides an opportunity for citizens to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the commission should complete a citizen comment registration form and submit it to the chair prior to the start of the meeting. There's a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak, with a reasonable limitation on speakers on one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on the same topic item. Anyone wishing to speak shall be courteous and cordial. The Planning and Zoning Commission is not permitted to take action on any subject raised by a speaker during citizen comments. However, the Planning and Zoning Commission may have the item placed on a future agenda for action, refer the item to the Director of Planning for further study or action, briefly state existing city policy, or provide a brief statement of factual information in response to the inquiry. Anyone need to make a citizen comment on something that's not on the agenda? All right, seeing none, moving on to regular agenda items. C1, consider approval of the attendance matrix for the Planning and Zoning Commission as presented and take appropriate action. As stated in the City of Farmers Branch Ethics Handbook for elected officials and advisory board members, all appointed members should make every effort to attend regularly scheduled meetings. Per ordinance number 3563, adopted April 2nd, 2019, any person appointed by the City Council to a board or commission as either a regular member or alternate member shall be automatically considered for removal by the City Council after such person has been absent from 2 regular special meetings of the board or commission to which the person is appointed during any period of 12 consecutive months, which absences have not been excused by an affirmative vote of the board or commission to which the person is appointed. A comprehensive attendance matrix has been developed to keep record of these excused and unexcused absences. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the attendance matrix as presented.
I have a motion from Commissioner Brittle. Second?
Second.
Second from Vice Chair Williams. All in favor? I don't see, I think maybe it's, okay, we're good. I think we're all unanimous. Great. Thank you. Moving on to item C2, consider approval of the December 14th, 2020 Planning and Zoning Commission minutes and take appropriate action. Staff recommends approval of the minutes of the December 14th, 2020 meeting. Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion.
I'm motion to approve the minutes as written.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Williams. Second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Brittle. All in favor? It is unanimous. Moving on to public hearing. Item D1. Conduct a public hearing and consider a request to adopt the IH-35E Corridor Vision Study, amending the City of Farmers Branch comprehensive plans. Approximately 463 acres, generally located along both sides of IH-35E freeway, extending from the north city limit line to the south city line, and generally bounded by the DART BNSF Railroad on the west, and on the east by Denton Drive, Rawhide Creek, Valley View Lane, at the rear property line of properties on Nestle Street, Havenhurst Street, B Street, Wicker Avenue, the rear property lines of properties fronting on Hermitage Street, the Cooks Creek Channel, and the west property lines of the residential lots fronting B Street, and take appropriate action. Kira.
Thank you, Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Kira McCardle, Consultant to the Planning Department. The purpose of this agenda item before you today is to conduct a public hearing and consider a formal recommendation on the I-35 Corridor Vision Study. The proposed vision study that's before you today is a result of a just over 1-year-long process that involved extensive public engagement and analysis on the part of our consultant team, which included Interface, WGI, and Integrit Partners. Staff is recommending approval of the proposed study this evening. Scott Page and Stacy Chen from Interface are here today to present the proposed study. Staff and the consultant team will be available for questions once the presentation is complete. Thank you very much, and with that, I'll hand it over to Interface.
Thank you, Kira. Stacy and Scott.
Thank you. I'll share my screen. Go. And my name is Stacey Chen. I'm from Interface Studio. And as Kira mentioned, we also work with Mini-Grant Partners and WGI on this vision study. I will quickly walk you through our process. We began in December of 2019, and we have finished just over a year later. There was a slight delay because of the pandemic. We were originally scheduled to launch our big public event in March, the same week that basically the whole country shut down. So we had to go back to the drawing board a little bit and retool everything to be online and virtual, but we were really happy with the turnout that we got from the public. We were able to launch our first public event in June, and we had over 400 participants for that virtual event. And then over the summer, we developed recommendations. We had some focus groups where we could dive a little deeper in certain areas. And we came back again to the public in September with the preliminary ideas and asked the public to weigh in. And in that, we got 123 participants. And then we have spent the fall developing and refining the recommendations and putting them together in the plan, the draft plan that was released in I guess it was late December, early January. And so that is a product of both this public engagement process, but also our data analysis, looking specifically at the parcels and businesses in the study area. The input and our data analysis resulted in this vision and set of goals for the IH-35 East Corridor. So the vision really aims to make this corridor what we're calling a front door to Farmers Branch. You know, so many people go through this area, either whether they're on the highway or going to businesses, and it really needs to present better as Farmers Branch. The main thing we're trying to balance, though, is the area as both a place to live and also a place to do business. It is currently already a very large employment center for Farmers Branch and also the region. And we think that that's very important, that business have a place to start and grow and expand. And at the same time, we recognize that the area is changing and it's becoming more and more of a residential area as well. So we're trying to find a way to balance both of those things and for the place to look like the front door of Farmers Branch. And with that in mind, we have developed 5 main goals. One is to create a modern urban industrial district. So like I said, this is still a place for businesses. We would like to see it modernized though and become more urban, more mixed use, and have more amenities. The second main goal is to extend the station area to the west side of the highway so that along Valley View Lane on the west side is a continuation of the mixed use, compact, walkable development. The third is to improve the appearance of the corridor overall. And so a lot of that will have to do with trying to upgrade properties, particularly along the highway, and over time attract new businesses along the highway. The fourth is to green the corridor through landscaping throughout the study area, and really with the main goal of making this a true city in the park. And then finally, to connect Farmers Branch on both sides of the highway, especially to make it a more walkable area in a targeted way. And by that, I think that one of the big priorities we heard throughout is that, again, Valley View Lane really has to be the centerpiece of what connects the communities. So this map here shows what we're calling the future land use of the area. Like I mentioned before, the area is still a major commercial and industrial district. We see that as remaining a major use in this. It is a major generation of jobs in the area, and we view that as very important. So that is represented in the light blue color on this map. But we also recognize that there are areas that are changing. So foremost is the station area, which you see labeled here and highlighted in the orange color. That is on the east side of the highway and south of Havenhurst Street. And that is the primary and priority area of change for this part of Farmers Branch. But we also see the area west of the highway, as I mentioned before, as an opportunity to extend the station area with new compact walkable development. Again, with Valley View being the main spine of that. And then finally, there are two other areas where we see changing as time goes by, and that is the area just north of the station area, north of Havenhurst, that we're calling new and adaptive reuse for live work. So it's currently in the industrial and commercial area, but we're seeing that as an opportunity for additional residential use as well. And then finally, the new commercial development along the northern end of IH-35 East, alongside the highway. So this zooms in a little bit on the four main target areas we see as opportunities for change. So again, the station area is a priority and already has a plan. Target area 1, we see that as the extension of the station area. Target areas 2 and 3, we're seeing as opportunities for small, medium, and large businesses to locate. So it's the kind of place where you can, start off your business, and as you grow, there are places for you to grow. And then target area 4 is the main highway commercial district. In addition to those areas of change, an important part of this plan is thinking about the entire district and how the public realm can be improved. So there are a couple of highlighted, what we're calling gateways, that are major opportunities. So as the highway reconstruction occurs, the gateway at Valwood, and also the one at the southern end, like the southern part of the city, really, near the city boundary with Dallas, where there are a lot of on and off ramps. There's a lot of landscaping potential there, where we could really make the landscape perform the role of a gateway into the city. In addition, we've identified major streets where street redesigns are in progress for the next couple of years, and those are big opportunities to make an improvement. And those include Valley View Lane, Denton Drive, and B Street, which you see on this map highlighted in green. And then finally, there are also opportunities to encourage private landscaping and greening improvements. And so you'll see those on the map in that hatched green. One of the major potential opportunities is making improvements along Cook's Branch, which is a creek that runs across the northern end of the study area. And finally, as a way to wrap up, the most important piece of this is to think about how this plan will be implemented. And so one of the things that we really need to think about is the coordination of a lot of different projects. Some of them are already happening. Obviously, the highway widening project is a major project that was in some ways the impetus of this study, and things will be coordinated around the actual widening of the highway over the next few years. So we created this chart here to help think about which particular strategies will probably occur at which phase of the plan. And so this is a 20-year plan. So we start in 2021, you can see the years at the bottom, and each of those columns represents a 5-year chunk. So this is, broadly speaking, what will happen in the first 5 years is listed in the first column, along with projects in gray that will also need to be coordinated with this one. So some of the street redesign projects that are already happening, so on B Street, Denton, and Valley View east of IH-35 East. And then following that first 5-year phase, then we start layering in other projects that may depend on the progress of those previous projects, going all the way out to 2041. Another important thing in implementation is the collaboration throughout the municipality of various departments in order to see these strategies through. So that each strategy will have various cheerleaders and partners who will need to push it through to implementation. Thirdly, resource allocation will be very important in order to fund many of these strategies. And then finally, the plan will need to be monitored over time. We are suggesting every 5 years in order to see what progress has been made, what has changed. Our world has changed so dramatically in just this year alone. So who knows what the next 5 years will bring. We need to kind of take a look back and see whether things need to change in our implementation plan as well. And all of this information is also put in the plan in this format, where we've identified the strategies, whether they're a priority, what the starting time frame should be, who's involved, and what type of action is required, whether that is rezoning or public infrastructure or partnerships, and then also what part of the study area it pertains to. And this implementation plan is also provided to the city in a spreadsheet that is editable so that when they do their 5-year review, they can make changes as needed. And that wraps up my presentation.
Thank you, Stacy. Commissioners, any questions for the consultant or for staff? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. I will now open the public hearing. If you would like to speak on this topic, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no one wants to come forward or speak, I will now close the public hearing. Yes. I'm sorry. Public hearing remains open. We have someone online.
If the attendee with the name Natalie Lundsteed, will you please state your name and address for the record?
Sure. I'm Natalie Lundstein, 2516 Vintage Street. I had emailed some comments, so wasn't sure I needed to actually speak. Did my email get through?
We'll check. Just 1 second.
Okay.
Hey,
If
Natalie.
not, I can paraphrase for you.
Hi, Natalie. This is Tina Fergens, the planning director. When did you email those comments? Do you mind if I ask?
About 10:30 this morning.
Okay, and who did you by any chance send those to?
It's the link. Let's see. I'll have to double check for you. It was like info@Farmers Branch. Tell you what, I can look that up, and in the meantime, I'll paraphrase to you what my concern was.
If you could, because it sounds like we probably did not receive your comments given the email address that they were sent to. So if you could address verbally your comments, we would appreciate it.
Yes, no problem. And I'm stalling for time also so that I can look up my own notes so I can tell myself. Yeah, ask planning at farmersbranchtx.gov. And I sent it at 11:08. Okay,
thank you.
I'm just going to read you guys what I wrote. So I live within the station area and the study. I'm very excited. I've been, attending events, sometimes one of the very few residents attending. So I'm pretty committed to this and excited. But one of the things that really concerns me when you talk about walkability is the issue of sidewalks. Because since I've lived in Farmers Branch for 2.5 years now, speaking, immediately with my city council member about sidewalks around where I live, which is Vintage Street between B and Valley View. There are only sidewalks in front of certain places, and I guess the policy going forward, or the city expects new developments to create sidewalks. But there are a lot of older businesses that don't have sidewalks and thus won't be required to. So it's very haphazard, it's very sketchy, and when you look at something like the new Chipotle and Starbucks, they have beautiful sidewalks, but you can't get to those sidewalks without taking your life in your hands, walking along through grassy fields. So really that was just my request, is that I would like to see the city make a plan and take responsibility for the sidewalks within the study area. When you talk about walkability, it's just been my experience that it gets kind of brushed aside to the future, like, oh, developers will take care of that. But we can't expect new residents and new businesses to do that because they might not come for quite a while. So that's all I had to say. And if you could let me know, maybe if I could resend my email, I would appreciate that.
Super. Thank you, Natalie. Walkability is part of this plan, and the commission did bring that topic up in the study session, and so staff is aware of it. I would also encourage you, this goes to City Council on February 2nd, and if you could attend that meeting or do the same thing you did here and send that same question to the City Council, I think that would be a good move for you to make. I like your description of haphazard and sketchy. I think that's a good attention-grabbing headline. I have walked that myself and would agree with those descriptors. So thank you so much for your input. Anybody else with comments? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Alex Segal with Sandpax 5-Star Ford, and I'm the chairman of the board for the board of directors for the Farmers Branch Chamber. Just wanted to say thank you to the planning committee, thank you to the city council, and the consultants. I like the process that you've taken on engaging the public, engaging stakeholders over the year. I've participated in some of your efforts to get information, and we passed out the information to some of our businesses. And the general consensus is, yes, your areas of concern are ours as well. So you're on the right path, you're on the right ideas to work on. And other than that, just want to say we support what you're doing right now.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate it. All right, with that, I will close the public hearing. Commissioners, any final comments, questions?
Sorry.
Commissioner Zavala, no
I always
problem.
have to have some kind of comment or question. Director Fergens, question for you. Just to address the comment about the sketchy sidewalk. The Valley View diet, can you just kind of recap that for me and for us as well? Where
Sure.
we're at with that and what that diet means?
Okay, sure thing. So the Valley View Lane, let me back up. Council directed us, city staff, earlier in 2020 to focus on continuing to improve the station area as an urban village focused on transit and pedestrian-oriented principles. And walkability was a key objective associated with that. As you know, we have been working extensively on the I-35 widening and coordinating with TxDOT to look at improving opportunities for east-west connectivity from the east side of the highway to the west side, but also at a finer level, we've been looking at opportunities for improving the walkable experience along Valley View Lane, as well as along Denton Drive, as well as even along B Street. The North Central Texas Council of Governments and Regional Transportation Commission just recently awarded the city of Farmers Branch $5.88 million to be used towards the redesign of Valley View Lane, as well as improvements along Denton Drive for our shared use trail system being planned along through that. When we talk about Valley View Lane being placed on a diet, if you were to look at the current station area zoning code that applies to the station area proper, it provides for taking Valley View lanes from 6 lanes divided down to 4 lanes divided, basically taking that outer lane, the outermost eastbound lane and the outermost westbound lane, and converting that to accommodate on-street parking, allowing for wider sidewalks and the installation of additional street trees and landscaping. All of those items help facilitate an area becoming more walkable. So that is our goal with respect to Valley View Lane and similarly Denton Drive and some of the other streets that are within the station area. Our sustainability team has also been working on the implementations of improving walkability within the station area. I know one of the projects that they're working on right now is providing better sidewalk connectivity along B Street. Ms. Lundstein is correct that part of our position on improving walkability has been to allow for the development community to be able to assist in that effort, but we, the city, are also working on strategies to be able to be a partner in that effort as well. The quality of life bonds that were passed a few years ago provided funding for improving walkability, particularly within the central area, and opportunities for improving connectivity. So we have several projects in the works that we're working on right now. Valley View Lane and Denton Drive, Council just recently approved the contract to allow us to engage in design services with a professional engineering firm to be able to begin working on the redesign of Valley View Lane and advancing the designs of Denton Drive. And I know the sustainability team has another professional engineering consultant whose name I'm drawing a blank on, but I know they have been working with them. I've seen 30% construction plans on that project, so I can say it's definitely in the works on that. So, but those are the larger initiatives that we have that we're undergoing. Like I said earlier, also the private development is going to have a role in this as well in improving sidewalks at such point in times when properties are redeveloped. And a great example is the Vintage Townhomes. When that development was done, the developer was responsible for building the existing sidewalk improvements that are along B Street, and I believe they also had some improvements along Vintage. So over time, we will fill in the haphazard and sketchy areas of the community and hopefully provide a much more enjoyable, walkable experience.
Thank you. Commissioners, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the I-35 vision study as proposed.
I have a motion from Commissioner Jones. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner Bertle. All in favor? It is unanimous. This goes to City Council February 2nd, and I would encourage you to attend that meeting and show your support. Again, I'd like to thank the consultants for the great job that you did helping us be a good steering committee, and for all the input you received from citizens, as Mr. Skagel mentioned. Obviously, our citizens, our Chamber of Commerce and businesses are all watching closely, which is good. And I believe we have a plan now to put before council that reflects all of that input. So thank you so much. With that, any other comments, commissioners? Seeing none, I will close this meeting at 7:26 p.m.